Welcome to the Freight Agent Insider Podcast, hosted by Levi Van Pay.
And welcome to Freight Agent Insider. Everyone, I don't know where you're all watching this, where you found the show, but if you are watching it, grab your brother, grab your sister, even your grandma. This is TV for the whole family. Today, we are with the baddest mother ducker in freight, Serena Kanline. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks for
How are you today?
That was a great. I should put that on my LinkedIn.
That was good.
How many titles can I have on my LinkedIn before they're like, that's enough?
Yeah, there's no limit. Keep going. Just keep going.
Bad mother ducker.
Bad mother ducker. That's a good one. And that was off the top of my head. I didn't rethink that.
That was great. 10 out of 10.
That's great.
We have a whole duck audience at the moment.
Please show us. Serena, if you wouldn't mind, kind of tell anyone listening why you have, is it a gaggle of ducks in your front yard?
It's a flock.
A flock? What is a gaggle?
Of geese.
Gaggle of geese. Okay.
I think it's a herd. No, that's not right.
I'm an idiot. I don't know. You are the zookeeper. Your LinkedIn says so.
I'm going to go flock.
Flock of ducks. Flock of ducks. So I did pre-download that. Serena is a big animal lover, as am I, and it's great to have an animal lover on here with me. But you're not just an animal lover zookeeper, you're also a crazy successful freight agent. We would love to kind of dive into, how you got your start in this. We talked about this before we started the show. I think it's really interesting how it seems like everybody who comes on here has like a very similar pathway that leads to freight agency, but let's hear it from, as the Canadians say, the horse's mouth. Let's hear it.
So I honestly had no idea that this was even a thing that people did. It's just like not something you think about until you are in it, I think. I don't know. But I bartended my entire life and just kind of outgrew it.
Mm-hmm.
Got out of it, ended up without a job for a few months. I had something lined up that fell through. No big deal. And then my husband's coworker, his roommate, because I know like his coworkers, so he must have said something in passing about like me not having a job, whatever. So she was talking to her roommate about it, and the roommate was like, well, I can get her a job at Fast Cat, like if that's something that she might be interested in. So my husband brought it up to me and I was like, I have no idea what that means. So I talked to Gabby about it a little bit, interviewed with Mark, the owner. He was super cool. It was Fast Cat only employs 1099 agents. So the idea of like working under commission kind of freaked me out. Thankfully,
For sure.
My husband has always been the breadwinner. So he was like, we can test it out, see how it goes. You have the potential to do really well. But in my brain, I was like, I can't cold call. Like I cannot. I will like panic. And I don't like to be cold called. So it was just like something that like really freaked me out. I was like, I don't know that I can do this. How am I going to get around it?
Right.
I ended up posting on, and I think my first couple of loads, his best friend works for an HVAC supply company that I had no idea. We hang out with them all the time. I had no idea what he did. When I talked to him about it right when I started, he was like, I will give you like your first couple of loads, like no problem. And I was like, oh, okay. So I did that a couple of times, like get my feet wet. Like I'm a learn by do. So, putting in loads and like doing all the things. And Gabby was obviously with me the whole time, walking me through it and helping me. And, you know, I ended up posting on my Instagram that this is what I was going to be doing. And I had a girlfriend who I worked at Hooters with 20 years ago. Okay. We were like 19. I'm not 39. 18 years ago. She was like, my husband runs a pump company. We probably could use you. Like, I think like I'll reach out to him. And I was like, absolutely. I had no idea what I was doing. So I was just like, yeah. Well, after a couple of months, she ended up reaching out to me and she was like, the people that we've been using, you know, XYZ, they had complaints. Fine. I took over. And all of their stuff is very high value. And going like Oregon to Texas, 90% of it goes Oregon to Texas.
Right.
So I started out doing these long hauls for like $500,000 in pumps. And, you know, even at 50% margin, I think my average is 12%, give or take.
Respectable.
Yeah. And it's very like, she doesn't ask me for quotes. We have set rates that I came up with on 3 lanes months ago.
Yep.
Everything else that they need is just hey, Serena, we need these trucks. They trust me to pay good carriers fairly, mark it up fairly, and that's the end of it. So I was really just running for her for a few months, but I started last September. I think by December, end of December, I had hit top sales.
That's incredible.
Not top margin, but I had gotten top sales. I think at the very end of very end of December. So that was like a high, and I was like, wait a second. And then I started running. I think I had also been running for one of my old bar regulars at my last bar in Orlando. Had just like reached out to me, like, hey, at the bar, miss you. How are you? In the conversation, I mentioned what I'm doing, and he's like, we use brokers all the time. So he connected me with their operations guy, who now I work very closely with. I only do their overflow, which isn't a ton, and it's mostly local Orlando, Florida stuff. But got my foot in the door, got my feet wet, you know, learning how to do things and trial by error and whatever. But I really just jumped in face first.
Yeah.
And figured out a way around cold outreach. And my boss does not care. Like, he has never once, they like pick on me for it.
Yeah. But
he's never once been like, you need to get on the phones.
Something that stuck out to me when I first started talking with you, and we met on LinkedIn, and I've mentioned this to you before, but the first thing I noticed about you was you made me laugh via text, and that's a skill. Like, if that is not a sales skill, I don't know what is. It's brilliant.
Well, and that's the other, like, I am such a quality of life. Like, yes, money is cool. I love Botox and getting my hair done just as much as the next girl. My quality of life means more to me than anything.
100%.
My daughter's in high school, my son's in middle school. I need to be here and present enough for them in the next few years before they're like on their own.
Yeah.
So I needed something that I could do from home. Nobody is micromanaging me. I do my own stuff on my own time, at my own pace, in my own way.
Yep.
It would probably send most agents into a panic attack. But my working relationship with the people that I work with is so like cohesive, and they think I'm hilarious. So
you're pretty damn funny.
Like banter and talk shit. Excuse my language.
Yeah.
I don't want, like, it's not fun for me.
Yeah.
I'm going to be stressed out. My customer stressed me out so badly yesterday. So badly. And I literally texted him and I was like, "You're in timeout." And that's where the glitter bomb post from yesterday came from.
I love it. I love it.
Like, "You're in timeout. This is the only time he calls me Stabby." He was like, "Oh, you're Stabby
Ah.
today." And I was like, "You have no idea what I just went through."
You have so many awesome nicknames. And just to really quick to recap this here. So you started out as a bartender, which by the way opens up so many gateways because everybody you talk to, you don't have to be a bartender to be successful in freight at all. But when you're working in a service-based industry, you talk to a lot of people that could
Yeah.
potentially end up benefiting you in some way. And another key point that I just want to mention really quick, because we've talked about this over the last couple of days now, starting yesterday into today, but it's so important that where you are and the cohesion that you have with your team, that is going to trump splits. And I think you mentioned that your split is a 50-50 split.
Yeah.
That so just for anybody watching this who thinks, oh, just because I can offer this broker, this agent a higher split does not always mean, it is not indicative of them just leaving. We've talked about this, and I think me and some other recruiters, we've talked about how trust is such a much larger factor in any broker leaving anywhere, because moving your book, all the stress that comes with it, the customer
Yeah.
stress, your stress with the customers, all that.
I mean, it is. And like my main customer, my ex coworker,
Hmm.
my other huge customer now was it's one of her receivers. It's her main receiver that I was shipping to multiple times a week for months. And I was on the phone with him about a truck that was coming in. I never like cold called him or pitched him or anything. He had my number. I had his number because of the shipments. Like, he requires a 1 hour warning call for his deliveries. I figured out that my trucks weren't doing that. So I'm on the phone with him trying to figure out like where the line of communication is lacking. Right. And
Right.
I just was very easy breezy, beautiful cover girl. Like, you have my number if you ever need anything outside of this customer.
Yeah.
I'm happy to help. And he was like, "Yeah, I don't really like using brokers. Like, I use blah blah blah." And I was like, "Okay, no, I'm not going to bug you about it. I'm here if you need me. No big deal. No harm, no foul." A few weeks went by, and I coach rec volleyball.
Yep.
Um, real Jill of all trades. Um, I was walking into practice at like 6
Hmm.
o'clock at night, and he called me, and I was like, "Why is this guy calling me right now?" So I
Yeah.
answer, and I'm like, "Hey, what's up?" And he's like, "How quickly?" He calls me Miss Serena. He's like, "Hey, Miss
Yeah.
Serena." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "How quickly can you get a truck in here?" And I'm like, "Hmm." So I'm like, "Well, listen, I just walked into volleyball. Let me call one of my teammates. Text me the details. I'll get it worked out."
Yep.
So I call my girlfriend Lana. I'm like, "Lana, I need you. This is huge for me. Get a truck in there." So she
Yeah.
does within an hour. A few weeks goes by, and he's like, "I need 12 trucks, blah 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 blah." And I'm like, that was the first time that anybody had asked me for that amount of trucks at one time. So I was like, "Oh my god, I don't know what to do." I like called Gabby, my team lead, I think, and I was just like, and I figured it out, because that's now our norm. Like, he'll
Right.
send me a text, but he's the
Yep.
same way as my other customer. He trusts me to pay good carriers, mark it up fairly, and
Yep.
I'm not bidding against 5 other brokers for this stuff. I don't even really post loads that often. I had to do it a handful of times this week for whatever reason.
Yeah.
My boss makes fun of me because, like, if we get on our weekly Zoom and I'm like, "I'm in the trenches," he's like, "We're all playing our tiny violin for you, Serena." And I'm like, I know. I
Yeah.
am a
Yeah.
spoiled brat. I really, truly am. And I know that because I have 2 big customers that spend a lot of money and they
Yeah.
just trust me. And they think I'm funny.
You are funny. And just to clarify here, because everybody knows you're an agent, you're 1099. When you say your boss, and what Serena is referring to, and I'll let you explain it, is, and we talked about this with a different broker, but you are essentially you're an agent, but you're working within a team of other agents. Is that kind of how that operates?
Correct. We all kind like there's I think probably 5 or 6 team leads um that each have X amount of people. And it's really just like when you're training, if you go on vacation and need somebody to cover your stuff, like they'll cover it and you guys would split whatever at whatever you guys agree to split it at. Like, but I'm just getting my own customers, booking my own trucks. I fill out my own pay sheet. It's like a spreadsheet, you know. We
Yep.
operate under Armstrong, so they do all of our back office, carrier vetting, insurance, all that stuff.
Yep.
But Mark is the owner of Fast Cat, the president.
Yep. Understood on that. I think something that I wanted to ask you about this, and I think it's important for this podcast, as you are officially the first woman to join the podcast. And something that goes with that is you are carrying a large torch because you're in a male-dominated industry.
Yeah.
Your pathway to success, although very unique, is there any insight or tips for, of course, other women out there that are looking up to you and they want to become the next Serena Kanline? What do you have there that might help other women and other men that are trying to make their way up in this industry?
I think that operating under integrity is because when I came in, like I got fed so much information and so much like insider info, right? That
Right.
like brokers kind of had a really bad reputation. And I try my very best and it took a little bit to like get some carriers in my network that I could reach out to and depend on. But I'm also not, again, I'm not playing cheapest man wins with my customers. So I can call my carriers and say, I need X amount of trucks. How much do you need?
Right.
And I can, and if I need to negotiate down a couple $100 because it seems reasonable, then yeah, they'll do it for me. I don't do it that often. A lot of the time I'll be like, that seems fair. I think one time, anyway, but I have had to kind of put some, not necessarily shippers, like customers, but drivers, carriers
Yep.
in their place with the way that they spoke to me. Because at some point, you're communicating via email. Whether they call you on a load first, you're then sending them a rate con via email.
That's right.
My picture is at the bottom of my email. So they see that, and I've had carriers reach out to me on a load and immediately
Plug your ears, kids.
Yeah. Immediately, it's happened 2 or 3 times. Like, I tell them I booked the load, and then they're like, well, you're really beautiful. And like, what are you like? And I'm like, no. That's not what we're doing.
Right.
I had a driver scream at me a few months back about tarping a load that he knew had to be tarped. He called me, and I was on my way. I was like mom mode driving my daughter to school.
Yep.
Like, not being disrespectful, but I was like, listen, man, I'm paying you to tarp the load, tarp it and go, but you are not going to talk to me that way. I am being respectful of you. You need to be respectful. And if you're not going to be, I will hurt your feelings.
Love it.
So, but that also is like my bar days. Like, I've gone toe to toe with so many drunk men in my life that like, I'm not the one. They see my email signature and they're like, I can yell at her. And I'm like, no. I'm being fair.
Yeah.
So let's all be respectful. And I've only had to do that a handful of times, but it is like hyper active on LinkedIn. Dudes will, like borderline use it as a dating website. And
Really?
yes.
Wow.
And I'm like, that's not what we're doing here.
Do better, guys.
I had a guy send me a selfie, and we were like, because I'm kind. I'm kind. I'm empathetic. I am outgoing to a fault. So I will small talk. Like, if you want to have a conversation and like bounce whatever, funny jokes, like memes, I'm happy to. Like, I work from home. I enjoy the social interaction to an extent, but every once in a while they take it a little too far. And I'm like, no, no, no. One, you shouldn't be doing that even if I were single. Like, if I'm not actively giving you that, and like maybe just me being friendly gives that off unintentionally, but my husband will smile in his mugshot. So like, let's just be respectful.
Yeah, that's right.
Being a woman in this industry, whether you are, it probably happens to recruiters, anybody that I really know in this industry that is an even remotely good looking woman has dealt with it in some capacity. So like, they're developing a thicker skin, but not letting them, like, I think Jennifer Brown, I think, is the one that said it. A very powerful logistics woman that I follow on LinkedIn.
Shout out Jay Brown.
Shout out. Was just like, you are allowed to go in these rooms and take up their space. Like, you are allowed to walk into a room full of men and demand space. And I think that that's really important for women, especially new to the industry. Like, it's scary to come into this and like, you're in a good old boys club.
Absolutely.
So either figuring out how to mesh with the good old boys, which I do that very well because I have a sense of humor. I come from a bar background. My feelings can't really be hurt. I mean, they can. I'm actually pretty sensitive, but like, like a woman could make me cry much quicker than a man could.
It rolls off your back. You've dealt with drunken idiots.
The only cold call that I've ever made, I think November of last year, was a woman that I had emailed from like my lead sheet that I got when I first started. I sent her an email, got nothing. Fine. I grew the balls to cold call her. I was like, I've already sent her an email. She's Canadian. She has to be nice.
No.
I'm on the phone with her, and she was so nice on the phone. So I was like, nailed it.
Yeah.
She was like, shoot me an email. So I do.
Yeah.
Just like hey, we chatted. So nice to talk to you. She responds with, oh, right. I saw your initial email and didn't respond because I don't find your picture professional for business.
Ooh. Spicy.
Cried. Like real tears, sobbed to Gabby, my team lead, and could not. And I like told Mark and Beth. So Mark is the president. Beth is like his right-hand woman. I cleared my picture with both of them before I put it on my email.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, we love that. And I never recovered, and I never made another cold call ever again.
So point being here, so that was, again, directly Canada, I was going to say, directly from the horse's mouth. Women can be very, very mean to women is the other side of this in this industry. And I've seen that a lot. But the other piece of this is you can be successful. And I didn't realize this until I've talked to you, Serena, but you can be a very successful broker without making cold calls is incredible. And with that, we will jump in. We got about 6-7 minutes left. We'll jump into the final segment here. Horror stories and pitfalls. What are a couple quick stories that you can maybe give, or examples of things for other brokers, younger, who, what they could possibly avoid, maybe not make the same mistakes that you have made? One of which is included, we just talked about it, apparently don't have too pretty of a picture in your email signature because the Canadians do not like that.
Be uglier, I guess. But like, I'm not going to do that. It's one of those things, like, you're intimidated, and that's not my problem. I'm not intimidating, you're intimidated, kind of
That's
thing.
right. That's right.
But my big thing that I religiously, especially now, I've had one claim in a year. It was a load, one of my local loads. They wanted to preload it the night before.
Yep.
And I said, if you're going to do that, it has to be tarped overnight because we're in Florida. And it was like 4 months ago, it was summer. It's going to rain overnight. It's going to rain at 3 a.m. We all know this. I go back and forth with the dispatcher. I'm like, if you can't tarp it, I will get somebody else to take the load. Like, that's just, it's what it is. If you're going to hold it overnight, you have to tarp it. If they had run it the same day, it probably wouldn't have rained but she assures me that it's fine. They're going to preload it. No big deal. Well, they didn't tarp it.
Uh-huh.
Rained overnight.
Of course.
Load got damaged because it was roofing nails. So they got
Yep.
rusted. It's a whole thing. It turns into an entire thing. I've never dealt with something like that before in my life. Now, my big loads, I've always gotten pictures of before they roll. Like, it's in every Raycon that I send for my 2 big customers. It's a non-negotiable.
Do you recommend that for like any particular
High value stuff, especially.
Great tip.
Sensitive tarped loads, especially. Because if they don't tarp it properly or at all, and it gets to I had pumps get tarped improperly. The tarp was ruined by the time they got to delivery, and the guy tried to make me compensate him for his tarp, and I was like, that's not my deal, my guy. Like, if you had tarped it properly, we wouldn't be in this situation.
Right.
If honestly anything, it's just safer. Obviously, that's pretty time consuming sometimes, and like, I don't do LTL. I've never done an LTL. So probably not necessary for that. I don't know. But if you're running like expensive stuff, or even like, maybe it's not that expensive, but like could be damaged in transit, always get a picture before they leave anywhere.
Great advice. Great tip.
I had pumps that got messed up because they got loaded too close together because apparently the guy didn't want to move his tarps off the end of his truck. That's alleged. I don't know. But nobody called me when they were loading to tell me that anything happened. So they get to my receiver, who is also my customer, and he's like, these pumps are damaged. They moved in transit. They shouldn't be touching. So
It
now,
was real quick. Sorry to cut you off, Serena. Was that a carrier that you were close to, or was that a carrier that you had never really used before? Because we
I
didn't
don't think it was somebody that I had used a bunch.
Okay, and that's an important point too, and you mentioned this earlier, we didn't get a long chance to talk on it, but having really good relationships with good carriers is paramount to being a successful broker.
It is, I could say it till I'm blue in the face. It makes your life so much easier. I have a carrier that I could call right now and get anything. Like, he covers almost everything that I do out of Texas. I talk to him 5 times a day, even if he doesn't have anything of mine on his trucks. He's so lovely. He's probably going to watch this. Shout out Caleb. But like, he handles, and I never have to think about it. Like, I give him my stuff and I'm like, and when he doesn't take it, I'm
Love
like,
it.
I'm mad at him and he knows that. But having good relationships with carriers is so important and will make your life so much easier.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's Serena. I feel like we could talk for a very, very long time. We're gonna pretty much cut. We have one more thing we're gonna do here. Again, this is the baddest mother ducker of freight. Thank you so much for coming. Now, the last segment, normally what we do is trivia. Today, we're going to mix it up a little bit. And I'm going to kind of put you on the spot, just a smidge. Now, you don't do cold calls, but you are a saleswoman. In 1 minute, can you convince us of alien life?
Probably not.
Think about it. Think about it for a second. Give us your best pitch for why aliens do exist. And I'm going to start the clock whenever you're ready.
I don't know if you gave me something that I like. There are a handful of things that I could get on a soapbox about
Uh-huh.
and probably convince you of. I don't think that that's one of them.
I don't believe that none of your ducks have mysteriously disappeared
Yes, they
into the
have.
night sky.
They have. Oh, because aliens?
That's right.
Hmm.
What do you got?
I mean, I guess if you think about it, when like it's kind of like ghosts though, like lights flicker, like people have seen UFOs, and like those people that like who's flipping signs? Like, are those real people? Are they making real money, or is that an alien in a human skin that's doing that? Because like, how much are you paying a sign flipper? Could be an alien. Walmart greeters, aliens. Because they're not checking your receipts. They're just there with like one eye and a bad back for no reason. Aliens. I stand by that. I just convinced
That was excellent.
Those were all aliens.
You have a way with words, my friend. And listen, I was already convinced of alien life, but you just brought it to the next level. That was great. Serena, thank you so much again for coming. One more time, everybody, if you could find us on YouTube, Spotify, TikTok, very easily. It's just Freight Agent Insider. Tell your grandmother about us so she subscribes because she would like this too.
I could
Serena,
send this to my grandmother.
please do. Please do. Serena, real quick, is there any last second advice or thoughts that you want to leave us with?
Just like don't let anybody tell you how to do things. You can do them your own way and it will probably work out just fine. You know?
Love it.
Be your own person. And don't
Be your own
work
person.
with people that are going to nickel and dime you and not appreciate you. It's not worth it.
Very well said. Very well said. Serena, thank you so much again for coming. We're going to do this again, I'm sure, shortly in the future because this was a lot of fun.
I'll be
Thank you so much.
Thank you.